was of miners. But maybe you see some construction after a month. The tomb is nice. The altitude 6,000 feet.